welcome to Stop Wasting Your Wine, a wine review podcast where we waste our wine so you don't have to. On this episode, we review
a pink wine from France.
Sounds fantastic. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us on our little wine podcast today. I'm Joel. Of course, I am joined by my friends Aaron and Colin. Aaron and Colin, how we doing, guys?
Really excellent. It is the perfect day to have a rosé because it was like 75 and sunny and beautiful all day, and I couldn't think of a better wine to drink on a day like today.
Lovely.
Yeah, doing awesome. I mean, we got a little rosé going on here. I'm excited to get into this one.
Rosé day. I'm into it.
Rosé. I mean, it's bros drinking rosé. I mean, what else?
Oh, my God.
That's it.
Oh, I see what you did there. Fantastic.
There it is.
I do say I appreciate, it's not the taking back of this, that's wrong, we never had it, but it's, for the longest time, I feel like rosé was like a gendered, like girls drink rosé, and that would suck because rosé is absolutely delicious. And so I appreciate us getting into this as just like a all-inclusive wine that everyone can enjoy. It is not a girl thing, it's not a boy thing, it's not anyone in between thing. It is just delicious.
Everybody should be drinking rosé.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, listen, before we totally start selling this stuff here, let's talk a little bit about the wine that we're drinking today. Aaron, tell us about our wine today.
You got it, Joel. All right. So today we have a wine from the Olema company. It is a rosé from 2021 from the region of Provence, the appellation of Côtes de Provence. It's about 13% alcohol, and we bought it from a very niche wine store. We had to really go around and dig in and find it, called Total Wine, for the whopping price of $17.99.
Wow, is Total Wine, is that the name of this this boutique
Total
wine? Total Wine?
Total Wine.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Total Wien, I believe.
Total Wien.
Total Wien.
Yeah, I've
yes.
heard tell. Very nice, very nice. Hey, is it, so, interesting thing here, Total Wine, I feel like almost everybody's got access to a Total Wine. Is it fair to say, guys, that if the listener is listening along and they want to go and experience this wine that we're drinking today, or really on any of our podcasts, that they can go and experience this wine themselves?
Yeah, that's the goal, right? We're choosing wines to review that people can easily find because we want people, to either be drinking or, if it's bad, I guess not drinking wine, good or bad wine. So that's why we're doing it, That's why we chose a lot of our bottles from Total Wine.
And fun fact, more often than not, we are looking at the wines that are on this week's coupon list. So, not only are these the wines that we are trying that everyone has access to, but they're probably the most affordable wines of the week, or at least a really good deal. So, you can run out to your local Total Wine and grab one for a good price.
That is a fun fact about this podcast. Speaking of fun facts, how about a fun fact about wine in general?
This is the only thing you will learn.
Nailed it.
You would learn. Well done, team.
All right, like Joel mentioned, we're going to get into some learning here. And what I wanted to talk about today, I wanted to get back to the basics of wine. We talked a little bit about climate last week, which is fine, but I feel like we skipped over some stuff, and that's really what I want to get into. And what we're going to do over the next 5 weeks is do a little breakdown about the structure of wine. So when I say structure, what does that mean to you guys? What do you think of?
I mean, to me, it's just it's the experience of drinking the wine. It's the smell, it's how it feels. It's kind of that whole thing, everything that comes together to really define what it's like to be drinking that particular wine.
Yeah, it's basically the beyond flavor, what goes on inside your mouth while you're drinking a wine. And when you're talking about structure, there are 5 components that make up what the wine feels like in your mouth. And those 5 components are sweetness, which is basically just how much sugar is in the wine, acid, tannin, alcohol, and body. And today what I wanted to talk about is sweetness, because I feel it's the component that is most associated with rosé. So when we talk about sweetness in wine, we're really talking about the sugar, or really the residual sugar that's left over from the winemaking process that you can still taste in the wine. And I think what's important when it comes to sweetness and knowing about sweetness is how to talk about it. And sweetness is measured, and this is confusing because you would just think it would be all sweetness terms, but it's actually measured in terms of dryness, which, why make it easy when you can talk about dryness?
It makes no sense.
So it makes no sense. Why? I mean, just make it like sweet, sort of sweet, but no, we're talking.
Like if someone asked me what the opposite of sweet was, my response wouldn't be dry.
Right. Yes. No. Especially because it's a liquid. So we're talking wet all the time. That's just how it. That's how it comes out. I don't know.
Taste a little bit wet.
I disagree.
This is a little too wet for my
taste.
This
isn't really a moist wine. This is more of a dry wine.
Oh, you said moist. You brought the word moist into it. Oh, God.
No. Anyway, but so the 4 terms to describe sweetness in wine are dry, which is no sweetness. You can't taste the sugar at all. You then have off dry, which is a little bit sweet. You can tell it's there, but it's not the predominant factor of the wine. There's medium sweet, which even more sweetness. It's really starting to become one of the major components of the wine. And then you have sweet, and that's just like it's almost the one thing that wine is all about. Like dessert wine is a good example of a sweet wine.
Now, Colin, are these descriptions that are opinion-based, like so much in wine tasting, or are these kind of hard cut-off amount of sugar in the wine mean they fall into these categories?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question, and there are hard cutoffs as to what a dry wine is versus what an off-dry wine is versus what a medium wine is, and it's all sugar that's measured in grams per liter. So that's basically the scale beyond just dry, off-dry, medium, and sweet, but that's not really helpful when it comes to enjoying wine. So really, you just have to be able to communicate what level you like.
So if I go into a wine shop and I ask for an off-dry wine, that is something the person that works there would be able to hand me.
Oh, absolutely. They'd be able to any level, and that's a great way to try different wines and different levels of sweetness, is just go in and use one of these terms. These are the most common. This is kind of the vocabulary that you will find in the wine world. So if you use these words, they will absolutely be able to direct you in the right direction.
So from last week, I could go in and be like, yo, can I get a warm climate wine, off-dry wine? That they could even like dive into those levels.
Absolutely. And the more specific, the more we do this over the next 5 weeks, like I mentioned, we're going to be talking about more structural components. The more specific you're able to get, the more likely you're going to find a bottle of wine that you like.
All right. So between what we learned in our last episode and then what we just learned a little bit about right there as far as the sweetness in wine, I feel like we're ready to start tasting today's wine. So gentlemen, let's open up those bottles.
Tastes like wine.
All right. See, we're slowly getting a little bit more vocabulary to be, a little bit more than tastes like wine. Still hopefully tastes like wine, but let's see what we can find in this. So before we taste, let's go ahead and see what we smell in this wine, guys.
That's quite different than what I was expecting, to be totally honest. Usually when I think of rosé and put my nose in the glass, I'm thinking, these fruit bombs, a lot of red fruit, strawberries, cherries, raspberries, but this is quite reserved. I am getting some of that red fruit, a little bit of the little strawberry, but not like sweet strawberry. A little bit of, I'm getting a little black pepper, and a really nice minerality off this wine, almost like wet stones almost. It's really nice. It's totally different than what I was expecting on the nose.
I get some of that minerality. I got to say, the first thing and probably the biggest thing that I'm getting here is a little bit more of the lemon aspect there.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
A lot of that minerality. I'm not picking up much of that pepper that you mentioned. Well, now that you mentioned it a little bit, but at first, not much. Aaron, what are you getting?
Yeah, this experience over the past few weeks with the two of you, is I've learned so much about wine, and I'm learning a lot about myself, and I'm learning that I have no recollection of what any food or anything smells or tastes like. So I hear you guys describing things like, "Ooh, this is strawberry," and I'm like, this smells like wine. So I'm not gonna bring a lot to this.
Well, it does.
It does. I'm spot on. Like
You're
I'm
not
just I
wrong.
just have such a limited palate. I'm waiting for a wine that's like reflective of like Eggo waffles or Pop-Tarts to like really harken back to the foods there that I most.
Yeah, no, the Eggo. I'm sure that might be the next wine. That might be the next
Hey,
one.
if that doesn't exist yet, we're sitting on a gold mine.
I can tell you we're not. I can tell you we're not. Um, so let me just say one thing about that before I get more of what I'm smelling this wine. It's all totally subjective. So if you stick your nose in there and say I get something that Joel doesn't like, that's okay. There are no wrong answers here. So, when you get your nose in there, just let it rip. You can't be wrong. You literally can't be wrong. So,
But one thing did pop out is I think it's a little bit like a watermelon in there, and I only like know what that smells like because my 2-year-old like throws a watermelon at me all the time. So
been there.
yeah, as a family guy, like we're all growing and learning here, and so I'm getting heavy watermelon from this. So thank you, Parker.
It's funny. I wasn't getting it before, but now that you said watermelon to Aaron, I'm getting that a little bit more. You're influencing what I'm smelling here.
Sorry about that.
No, that's great. That's why we're here. We want to improve palates and enjoy wine more.
All right, well, let's move on to the next step. Everybody go ahead and take a sip. Let's talk about what we're tasting.
So before we get into the notes, I want you guys to think about, since we were talking about sweetness, do you guys notice any sweetness in this wine?
No. Really not much. No, very, very dry.
It's about as dry as it gets.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, what I'm picking up here too is again, a lot of that lemon, really dry, pretty acidic. And and some of that watermelon too. But what's interesting is not really like the sweet bit of the watermelon, but that rindy kind of where it's starting to get a little bit less sweet, almost kind of like that part that you usually try to chop off, kind of that part of the watermelon in there,
but in like a tasty way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, totally. 100%.
It's working. Absolutely.
It's weird how sometimes parts of fruit you would throw away work really well as flavors in wine. Like you see that quite a bit. Like rind is a flavor profile you see often. And you don't usually eat rind, but like, man, it's really nice in here. And I would totally agree. And I am getting a little bit of that black pepper, that lemon, and that minerality really comes through on this wine, which I absolutely love. That's one of the notes beyond fruit that I just can't get enough of.
Perfect. All right. So we've smelled the wine. We've tasted the wine. I think it's about time that we roll in to some reviews.
Yeah, but did they like it? It's time for the review.
Oh. Yes.
So intense. So intense.
Man.
God, man, that really gets you going to review wine. I mean,
Drop.
I feel like I should be lifting weights now or something.
That's a drop, right? Is that the drop?
It's a drop.
That is a drop. No, that's a drop.
Okay.
You got
Okay.
it.
Yeah,
Nailed it.
All right. All right, guys. So as a reminder, when we drink these wines, when we rate them individually, we're going to tell you if we want the Olema Rosé to be in our wine fridge, on our kitchen table, stowed away in the closet, or if we're pouring that sucker right down the drain. So, Aaron, I'm going to start with you. Tell me, where are we putting this wine?
So I'm excited because a thing I've noticed about rosés, especially within just like socially around friends and family, people stick to brands that they like. Like they find a rosé that they enjoy, and that's the rosé they go for. I'm sure people can. I'm not going to say names because they haven't paid us, but there's definitely some like rosé brands out there that people just like go for. And those prices start to go up and people pay $25, $30, $35 for a bottle of rosé because they just know it's like the rosé that everyone likes. The Olema 2021 rosé is really good. It's really tasty. It's a wine that I would definitely have on the kitchen table. I would have out when I have folks over for dinner or for a barbecue, to sit outside on the porch and have a drink on a beautiful 75-degree day. And I would want this to be one that people, when they go to the store in the future, nab as a future, like, oh, this is a good rosé that I can grab and I can bring over for friends. So on my kitchen table for sure.
Also love how you reference a 75-degree day as a hot day up in New York, where here in Florida, that would be a rather cool day.
A beautiful day. It is a beautiful
fair enough.
day.
Fair enough.
It was
You're
not
right.
a
I put
hot
words in your
day. It was a
mouth, and I
beautiful day.
apologize for that.
Would you
Aaron.
prefer an 87-degree day? Would that be your beautiful day?
No, 75 sounds great. I'm just saying. 75 is almost sweater weather here. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
Sweater weather.
Colin, where are you putting this wine?
Oh yeah, this is a kitchen table wine for sure. And what I think I like about it the most is it blew my expectations kind of out of the water. Because like I said before, I was really expecting like a juicy, ripe, over the top, fruity rosé, and this is really, this is totally the opposite of that. And I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I would absolutely put this on the kitchen table. And like Aaron said, I think you should absolutely pick this one up.
Fantastic. I think I'm with you guys. I am putting this one on the kitchen table, but I got to tell you, it's not going to stay there because I am bringing this out to the back porch. To me, this is a porch pounder if there ever was one. Can we make that a thing? A certified porch pounder?
Certified porch pounder for sure.
Certified porch pounder officially. I mean, gosh, I couldn't agree with you guys more. This thing is it's refreshing. I think that's a word we haven't really used much on this one yet, but it truly is. It's just refreshing. It's nice. Would definitely sit outside and just enjoy this on a nice sunny day. So I'm putting this on my kitchen table as well. So with that being said, I think the answer is pretty straightforward. But guys, I mean, is this a waste of our wine?
Absolutely not. Delicious.
No, this is a keeper.
I agree.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Porch pounder, as Joel said. Absolute porch pounder.
CPP, certified porch pounder. Our first one on this podcast, I think. That's fantastic. All right.
But not the last.
Listen, not the last. The first, but certainly not the last.
I hope not.
So that's our review. Listen, if you enjoyed this, please follow and rate us on whatever platform you're listening to this podcast on. And if you get a minute, go ahead and follow us on Instagram. Thank you so much for listening. And as always, don't waste your wine.
Bye, everyone.
See you next week.